Salutations, everyone. Now, we've all seen the Supergirl trailer now, haven't we? The CBS Supergirl TV show. Well, if you haven't, check it out and then come back to me and we can have a little discussion because, obviously when one of these things comes out, you're going to have instant haters and instant lover fanboys usually they can't wait. They need to see it. I am neither of those. But as a comic book aficionado, as a lover of television shows, and someone who really likes certain television shows on today about superheroes, I thought I'd give my little 2 bits of my reaction so far of the Supergirl trailer. They had a 6.5 minute trailer basically giving you the entire plot of the first episode and maybe some snippets of some future shows as well, depending on how they want to do things. And they also released another shorter trailer out today showing a little bit more action. But this is going to be our Supergirl show on CBS, which is a little disconcerting because it's a network show trying to do a superhero television show, which are not nearly as successful as other channels that try to do the same thing. We've seen success with Smallville and recently with Arrow and Flash, and some people like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., some people like Gotham, and everyone loves Daredevil because that was just fantastic. But CBS, not known for having fantastic hour-long quality shows. And this is going to be about a superheroine from the comics that we all should know a little bit about, at the very least. So, if you saw the trailer, and I hope you did, because this is the only way that this video is going to make sense, it was... it had a lot of smack your head moments. There's a couple of things that were like, oh, that's okay, or I can understand why they did this, but still a lot of like, are you kidding me right now? First of all, it's, I don't know if you guys realized with this 6.5, 7, 8 minutes that we've seen so far, but, the main character is a girl. I know, the producers really didn't want to put that one past you. They're kind of like, really, like, they don't have to be, but they so are, like, this is, like, most putting a lens on it as you possibly can. It's not it's not a bird, it's not a plane, it's not a man, it's an independent woman with her own powers, and it's like, is that really necessary? And they have talking about Supergirl, like, oh, girls can be rich and powerful and sexy. It's like, Calista Flockhart, you're not, I'm sorry, you're not. But outside of that, it's so tropish, it makes me a little queasy in the fact that this is so much pandering to a female audience. And it doesn't need to be. As a comic book TV show, as a female-centric, driven, titular role, it doesn't have to be. We've seen plenty of shows that can have a female heroine and or a female antagonist at the same time and not have it to focus on, no, they're girls, don't forget, girl power. I mean, what we've seen so far looks like a Katy Perry music video turned into a TV show.
I used to bite my tongue and hold my breath, and you're gonna hear me roar.
Except with less endangered animals and not nearly as catchy. But at the same time, it seems to be on one side pandering to a female audience and another side it's very belittling at the same time because it feels like a rom-com trope. It was like, oh, you have this little guy who works with her and also like lives near her and he likes her, and Jimmy Olsen's here and he's super hot, and I mean, and the whole Devil Wears Prada nonsense and like the really weird music. It doesn't have to be this way. It really doesn't. I'm not gonna bash on it because, it's a female in the lead role and, she's a hero or whatever. I'm not about that. It has to be written and casted and produced correctly in order for it to be good. I don't care what kind of character the main or any other ancillary characters are. It's gotta be good. So if you're saying that, because it's a female, it's bad or good, it's arbitrary reasons. Because this is just so mushy-gushy tropic rom-com, oh, I'm so insecure about myself, and it's like, oh, I don't believe in myself, I believe in you, really? Let me do it. And it's like, I don't know how best to explain it.
We know it's hard moving to a new town, honey.
Don't call me honey! But that's your name. Oh my god! My eyes are bleeding!
Dude, this is fucking very weird.
It's just like this, like, girl-centric, like...
Yeah.
Girls! Like, it's like the most putting a lens on it you could possibly be. Are you a girl? Wow, you're a girl!
You can too if you believe in your girls!
Girl. Your head starts, like, spinning and, like, rockets off into space. Go.
So it's very disappointing on that front. It's not as true to Kara that we know in the comics. She's not, I mean, she is a bit naive, but she's also strong-willed and not, like, super insecure about who she is or what she's capable of doing. I realize they obviously have to take liberties with the television adaptation, and every comic book TV show has done that with varying amounts of success, and this one has made similar changes that other TV shows have that are good, but that doesn't necessarily have them work for the show because it has to be done correctly. You take a look at what Arrow and Flash have done when it comes to deviating from the comics. I mean, they've done plenty of things that Supergirl is obviously going to do as well. Because it's a TV show, you have to have certain things in place to make it narratively, contiguous. And you have to have other characters to make a main cast out of it. So you change characters from the comics and make them completely different how they are in the show. Like what Arrow did with Felicity Smoke, or what Flash did with Cisco and Caitlin Snow. Or what Smallville did with Lionel Luthor. These characters existed in the comic universe, and you're changing them a bit and putting them in a different light. And Supergirl's gonna be doing that too, even though freaking Ally McBeal over here is just like so rom-com tropish. It's like not even funny. And then you have characters that do not exist in the comics that they invent for the show, which is not necessarily bad. Sometimes it could be like really, really good, like Chloe Sullivan from Smallville, or Thea Queen and John Diggle from Arrow, or Joseph West from The Flash. You can invent characters and you can change characters that exist and make them completely different than how they were in the comics and still make sense within a comic book universe. And it can be good. Sometimes, they make even better ideas on these shows than they had in the comics, spin things a certain way. But, I mean, they have Jimmy Olsen as this super hot black dude. Like, it's just, like, overtly, like, yeah, I'm the fucking shit right now, and you're gonna have a puddle in your panties when you're thinking about me later, kind of like, Like, that is not Jimmy Olsen. I'm not here to complain that he was casted as a black guy, but they changed the character that he is altogether. He's a redheaded, like, nerdish kind of not so suave or muscular at all, kind of, pushover kind of a guy. But that's not him. This is our Jimmy Olsen. Not this. Not this. And speaking of Jimmy Olsen's, I mean, I'm not one to talk about whatever the reverse of whitewashing is. There's probably not even a word for it. But just the fact that they have never casted Jimmy Olsen as a redheaded character, which is weird because that's kind of like a distinct feature of his. It's like if they casted Mira or another known redhead as just like, nope, we're just gonna have you be whatever we want. I mean, back in like the 50s or in the Christopher Reeve movies, and then you had like Superman Returns and Lois and Clark and Smallville. It's like they never cast a redheaded Jimmy Olsen. I think there's might be some sort of bias there that people aren't talking about because other things are more political. But this is just like not who he is as a character. So it's like really disappointing because, like I said before, they can change a character like completely and still make it work, but that's not a change that can work. And I mean, they've made a lot of changes. They also have like Hank Henshaw, who's also casted as a black guy, and I don't even know why he's there, and I doubt they're going to do with the cyborg Superman thing. And there isn't going to be a Flash Arrow crossover with this show, in case you're wondering, because even though it has the same, producers from those shows, it wouldn't make sense in the same universe because they already have Superman as an established character that's been there a long time, and that should have come up if that was such a character that existed in the CW universe, which is coming out with their third show in Legends of Tomorrow, which the trailer came out today as well, and that has female leads, and they haven't just thrown that in our face like, oh my gosh, look, estrogen in your face. And not that that's necessarily inherently a bad thing, it's just belittling to the character and just makes it seem like a bunch of fat old businessmen were sitting in a room thinking, how can we appeal to girls? I know, let's just make everything girl, girl, girl. And that's not gonna work. We've seen plenty of times where a female character in a lead role can be strong and not belittling or falling into stupid tropes, and sometimes like not even be white or not even be straight, and it still works, and they're not trying to do anything wacky or different just to be wacky or different. If it works within the story, it works within the story, and people are gonna like it. But this, I don't think people are gonna like. They have made some changes that are okay to handle, like she has a foster sister, which is fine, give her another person to talk to who knows her secret, but then she also, Jimmy Olsen already knows her identity, which I'm guessing Superman told him, so okay, sure, that's fine, whatever. You gotta link the two somehow without not having Superman steal a spotlight or something like that. And then you also have her telling the guy who totally likes her, super quickly. She's really flippant with her secret identity with that guy. And it's well, why? That's just so tropish that they're gonna have the will they, won't they, and then Jimmy Olsen's still gonna be super hot, and that's not what people deserve. It might be what certain people want, but those aren't the people that you shouldn't be trying to appeal to, because they will look at anything shiny and think it's amazing. But what this should be appealing to, it's not, and that's a massive audience that appreciates a good narrative and storytelling and comic book characters. Granted, I am going to watch it. I am going to give it a try, at least the first couple of shows. And I know it's oh, you can't judge it on this much. It's we have 8 minutes of it so far, including the entire first episode, pretty much. And I don't know what trailers you've been watching your entire life, but they kind of show what the actual thing is going to be like. And this is not something I'm super excited for, and it's not just because a girl is the lead character. We have AKA Jessica Jones coming out later this year, and that was handled by Netflix, and so I'm super excited for that. We have 2 superheroines in the Legends of Tomorrow show, and I'm excited for that as well. This, not so much. You could criticize the costume, which is okay enough for the show, and trying to keep it, with the origins, but still trying to make it work for television. At least it's not this. They've made some changes that, the Arrow and the Flash did. They've made existing characters completely different in who they are. They've created characters and just thrown them in there. They have recasted a white character as a black character, as the Flash did. They've casted the former version of that hero back in the 20th century as a character, just like the Flash did. And they changed someone's appearance drastically, like they did in Arrow. And there's some of those changes are okay. Some of them seem really arbitrary and unnecessary. And the fact that this is trying to appeal specifically to girls is going to do one thing: drive away a male audience, belittle the female audience, and ultimately just appeal to nobody. And I don't want that to be what the show is, but it's CBS. It's about as corporate and mainstream as you can get. So with that, we're going to be getting these kind of changes. And that's not what makes a good TV show. I'm still going to give it a try, and I hope you do too. Unless you're really put off at what's been shown so far, in which case I don't really blame you. There's enough out there anyway. I don't read every single comic book because not all of them have to appeal to me, and this might not be one of those shows as well, but it's still successful otherwise. But I'm going to take a wild guess and say it's not even gonna be that.